Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman.
The host would like to unmute your microphone. If you could press star six to unmute.
Hello, can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me? Tony?
Mark.
Yeah, sorry, I don't know what's going on.
Here, I got you on speaker. We can hear you, but you can't hear us. So
I can't hear you. Yeah, I can't hear you.
I can't hear you. Well, okay, we can hear it through my phone.
So, Mr. Morrow, if I understand correctly, the two affidavits you submit are people who signed your petition,
Correct.
and I'm trying to read the notation as to why they weren't validated.
I believe it was the signatures appeared not genuine.
Non-genuine.
Yeah.
Okay. I got it.
Baba, as we call Tonya, she's 90, so she had a tough time with the signing on her lap.
Do these need to be verified, the signatures?
I don't believe so, no.
The affidavit.
They're notarized, I mean, so
Okay,
the notary witnessed the signatures, I'm assuming that's the legal signature.
you don't have to cross-check with their registration.
I'll get them. I don't believe we do.
I'm just asking.
I would assume we would update the signature based on the affidavit.
Chairman?
We would update the signature based on the affidavit.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Perlotti?
Yeah, just to Board Member McCafferty, in the past, when we have had an affidavit, when it was notarized, we did take that as them attesting with that notarization that is correct. And we have not gone back to the actual registrate to the database to verify that. The board has taken the affidavit just as presented
Okay.
and with that.
Thank you. Board members, any other questions? Mr. Lawler, you've inspected the documents as well, correct?
Yes, I had
Okay.
seen them before they circulated.
Thank you. Okay, board, what is your pleasure?
Make the motion to.
Michael.
Turn it on.
I thought it was on, sorry. So I can make the motion. Is it the motion to accept the two signatures or just to validate?
You're going to accept both signatures and you'll use the terminology on the number 9 if it's in lieu of.
Okay. So accept both signatures and
Certify
therefore
them to.
and certify
the
him.
candidate to Mr. Morrow to the.
to the, okay,
election
what
law.
he said. I'll make that motion.
There's a second.
Second.
Second by Mr. McCafferty. So the motion for our court reporter
There you go.
is to accept the signatures provided by the affidavit and therefore certify Michael R. Morrow,
Call Amaro.
Seven Hills Council Ward 4 nonpartisan to the September 5th, 2025
No,
primary.
it actually would be nominated without primary election.
Nominated with
Yeah,
that.
no
So he goes
primary.
right to November.
In November.
Okay,
election.
November.
Straight to
Thank you, sir.
November, right.
Thank you. Okay, our court reporter.
General election ballot.
Okay, he has it. All right. All right, the motion's in order. All in favor, aye? Aye. The ayes have it. It is so ordered. Thank you, sir.
You needed a second, though.
I did second.
He
But you
seconded
did?
it.
Okay,
Yes, it's
perfect.
been
Okay,
moved and
good. You're
seconded.
quick.
All right. we're
All
good.
right, good.
Sometimes I
Thank
fall
you.
asleep.
Okay, Mr. Lawler?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The next person is Michael Africa, who's running for council in Ward 7 nonpartisan. The candidate filed on the filing deadline 264 signatures. After registration, reviewed the signatures.
Oh,
He
no.
had 0 valid signatures, so he was short by 200. Mr. Africa was notified that he could file supplemental petitions. He chose not to file any additional supplemental petitions. Therefore, he is short by the 200, so he has 0 valid. In numerous discussions with myself and the candidate and Deputy Director Gallagher, Mr. Africa has indicated that he was running in Ward 8 and not 7, that the residents understood that he was running in Ward 8, and he had asked us to change his our candidate module to reflect that he was running in Ward 8, and we advised him that we could not do that. We obtained a legal opinion from the law director from the city of Cleveland, and I'll read that in part. It's based on Mr. Africa's assumption that the board could arbitrarily move his candidacy from Ward 7, which was stated on the petition, to Ward 8. And his short answer is no, because revised code 3513.261 requires that the statement of candidacy contain, quote, a declaration made under penalty of election falsification that the candidate desires to be a candidate for the office named in the declaration. This declaration is vital and material part of the nominating petition. Revised code 3501.38 prohibits the alteration, corrections, or admissions made to a petition after it's been filed with a public office. And I provided you the full legal opinion in your packet. So we would ask that Mr. Africa not be certified to the September primary.
Thank you, Mr. Lawler. Is Mr. Africa present? Mr. Africa, please. Good morning, sir, and welcome. Please state for the record, spell your name, and then you may address the board.
Michael, M-I-C-H-A, Africa, A-F-R-I-C-A.
Thank you, sir. Welcome.
Well, just for the knowledge, a little of my background, I've worked with Fannie Lewis for like 25, 30 years. So, boy, I'm minding my business. You know, I'm an entertainer, music, I'm doing that stuff, and always community activist. Got in touch, some of the ward leaders in Ward 8, which I didn't know because I was a precinct on the executive board and precinct committee person for years. So I backed away for maybe 3 years. I had no idea that they changed Ward 7 to Ward 8. But when I came down to the Board of Elections, as you can see with the petition, when I walked in, everybody, even when I left, I met a couple of the bosses. I was telling them I wanted for the young ladies were to help because I hate to say a lot of my people don't even know. I got glaucoma. I got a visual impairment. But and I told them in the thing. So the lady helped me as much as she could. She asked me what ward I was running in. I told her Ward 8. And they put it on top of the petition. If you guys need a copy, I don't know. But I told her Ward 8, and she put it down. All my paperwork, my receipt, when I paid the 45, everything say Ward 8. Now me, I called it a typo. I called it a mistake. I was in Ward 7 so long. When I wrote, I'm thinking, my site, whatever, I'm thinking they saying Ward 7 because, can I ask a question? When do it officially become Ward 8? Is it a Ward 8 now or does it after birth? Because I'm not blaming nobody. I thought in January it becomes Ward 8. That's what I thought. So I just put 7 because I live in 7, you know. And all my paperwork, everything I do is Ward 7. It's Ward 8. Besides that one thing, when I said I wanted to run, because I'm thinking I'm still living in Ward 8. But the biggest thing is that I wanted to address, because I've been through a lot in Ward 7. My brother was murdered in Ward 7. My sister was murdered in Ward 7. My brother, we was accosted, robbed in Ward 7. My brother had to defend himself, kill him. A lot. Ward 7 is where we are. And I don't understand me coming down here and you got the people working in the back and everybody treat me like a gentleman. I don't argue. I don't raise my voice. I know you got to go by the statutes and the laws. I can't understand why Mr. Lawyer treat me like an animal. That's what. So I wanted to let the board know. I'm not trying to get nobody in trouble. Nothing. It's just like we all in this here together. I just need information, just like the affidavits and change. I asked him, could I change it on the petition? Can I just, when I'm there, I'm standing right there. Can I change that 7 to 8? He said, no, that's your problem, blah, blah. He was very unprofessional and very mean to me. And going back into the community, and I'm asking people, and everybody's, whatever he's doing a good job. Because people act like they really fearful and like don't want to say nothing. I don't want to fight with Mr. Lawler or nobody else. All I want to do is get on the ballot. Like I asked him, I said, okay, well, if I can't get on the ballot, I do a write-in. He said, I can't do it. He said, if I don't withdraw right now, I can't get on as a write-in candidate either. All I'm saying is, if you look at my paperwork, I don't know if I'm supposed to turn in the clerk or not, but if you look at my paperwork, everything says Ward 8. It's just that, or the lack of a better word, typo. And I'm just asking the board to reconsider, look at the history, with me, from TJ Dow, when it was Bart Sure, I work with all of them because in the community, let's look at the situation, look what the people want. And then another question is, how did I get to Ward 7 on the west side? I never paid for that. I never signed up for Ward 7. I live in Ward 8 now. I made the typo. I take the blame. I'm not blaming nobody else. And I'm just saying, to me, the punishment don't fit the mistake. That's all I'm saying.
Thank you, Mr. Africa, and we appreciate your time and your advocacy. As Mr. Lawler had mentioned, we're governed by statute on this, and the board does not have discretion in this matter. So thank you. Board, what is your pleasure? No, pardon me, sir.
Do we,
I think the deadline is passed, correct? We
Oh,
can-
no, I was talking
Oh.
about some of the arguments. I didn't know, I just made a copy of everything and,
We do have a copy of
You
your
can give those to the
petition.
clerk, yes.
The
You can
the
deposit
issue
those
is
with our
that
clerk.
you had wrote Ward 7 in your declaration, the official part of the petition. So, and the question is whether we have the discretion or, are guided by law. Because you're calling it a typo, but the problem is it's in your declaration, which is a significant and important part of the petition that gets circulated. And so the question is, the board have the discretion? And our legal advice is we do not. So, okay. But thank you.
You may deposit, sir, any documents with our clerks.
Sure.
Thank you. Okay.
Thank you for your time.
need a motion?
Yeah. You can go ahead. I'll second you.
I will make a motion for the board not to certify Michael Africa to the Ward.
Ward 7.
Ward 8 or Ward 7?
I think it was,
Ward 7.
I will second that.
Okay, it's been properly moved and seconded. Any unreadiness? Hearing none, all in favor, aye.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Mr. Lawler,
the September election.
for the September
September.
5th, 2025 primary election. Thank you
Right.
for the
Thank
record.
you.
Okay, with that amendment. Okay, all in favor, aye? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The ayes have it. It is so ordered. Thank you. Mr. Lawler.
And our final one is Kihil Saran, Cleveland Heights Mayor, nonpartisan, turned in 342 signatures. He ended up with 303. He's short by 39. He had indicated numerous times that he would withdraw, but he has not. So we asked the board not to certify him to the September primary election.
Thank you, Mr. Lawler.
I don't think is he here?
Is the mayor here? Honorable Mayor? Okay, he's not present. Thank you. Okay, board, what is your pleasure?
This would be for certification to the November.
No, that's a typo. It should be September.
Okay, that's
Because
why
there is
it's,
a primary going already.
I move that we accept his request not to be certified to the election. You said he requested that he not be. We said he doesn't valid signatures. I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. And you said he contacted him and he made a request.
Oh, he had indicated as late as Friday that he apologized for not withdrawing, that he would do that. And we did not receive the
He did not
withdrawal.
receive
So
it.
I told him we didn't receive it. We'd ask the board to remove him.
All right.
okay,
From the September 5th
September 5th
election.
September.
election, not the
Right, so I
November
move
4th.
that Khalil Saran be removed from September 5th.
Thank you, Ms. Stewart. That motion's in order. I'll
I'll s-
second it.
Oh, you'll say, okay.
Okay, thank you. It's moved and seconded. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. It is so ordered. Thank you.
And then the numbers 7, 8, 9, and 10 you can proceed to certify the candidates as
Okay.
I stated.
Thank you, Mr. Lawler.
You're welcome.
All right. So I move with all of the amendments that we've made to certify the candidates for the September 9th, 2025 primary election.
Second.
Second by Mr. McCafferty. All in favor, aye. Aye, the ayes have it. And then we have under tab 8, all of our local options for the September 9th, 2025 election. Local liquor option, Cleveland Ward 7J and Lakewood 01B. So I move to certify those issues and local options for the September 9th, 2025 primary election.
Second.
Second by Mr. McCafferty. All in favor, aye. Aye. The ayes have it.
Chairman,
Yes, Ms. Stewart.
did we?
He withdrew.
Okay, thank you.
Earlier. Thank you. Okay, then we have under tab 9, a list of candidates who are nominated without primary election, and they will go to the November 4th, 2025 general election. And I move, yes. Ms.,
Mr. Curtis, I noticed that Rocky River Mayor Michael O'Boyle is still on that list, but I did see a withdrawal from
He
him.
filed the second time.
Oh, he did? Okay, that's what I was asking. Okay, all right.
So he's currently certified,
Okay.
will be certified to move to November.
Correct.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you for that clarification, Ms. Stickett
Yeah,
and
that was confusing.
Mr. Lawler. All right, the list is before us, and so I move the certification of the candidates nominated without primary elections at the November 4th, 2025 general election.
Second.
Second by Mr. McCafferty. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Aye. The
Aye.
ayes have it. It is so ordered. And then we have independent candidates to the November 4th, 2025 general election. Brook Park Mayor Edward A. Orcutt, Brook Park Director of Finance and Taxation Robert J. McGann, Brook Park Council at Large David E. McCorkle, Brook Park Council Ward 1 Andres Gonzalez Jr., Brook Park Council Ward 1 Tom Troyer, Brook Park Council Ward 3 Steve Roberts, Brook Park Council Ward 4 Richard D. Scott, Parma Council Ward 3 Dale K. Dotson, Parma Council Ward 8 Debbie Tabasso, and Parma Council Ward 9 Robert Early. So I move to certify those independent candidates for the November 5th, 2025 general election.
Second.
Second by Mr. McCafferty. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Aye. The ayes have it. It is so ordered. Thank
Thank you,
you,
Mr.
sir.
Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Lawler.
Thanks.
Mr.
Mr.
McCafferty?
Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I don't mean to backtrack, but Keith Hemphill was
Oh.
added to this certified list.
No.
No, he withdrew.
Oh, he was on
We-
he was on the non.
What,
The withdrawal.
He was on-
for point of information, any candidates that we're presenting to the board are never put on the certification list. We
Okay.
ask the board either to certify them or not to certify
Okay.
them as a separate motion.
Okay,
We-
thank you.
Thank you for
We
that.
took his motion in item number 5. He was added to
Yes,
that
correct.
point
Okay.
as a point of clarification.
Thank you.
All right. All right, are all minds clear? Move forward?
Yep.
All right,
Thank
thank
you,
you.
Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Lawler. And on to fiscal services. We have our fiscal services manager, Tara Brown. Welcome and good morning.
Morning, Tara Brown, Fiscal Manager, with 2 items. The first item seeks board approval to send the voter information guides to all active households for the September primary election. The RFP for this service was completed and was awarded to Midwest Direct. The second item is a resolution to renew the ballot printing and mailing contract with Midwest Direct for a term beginning June 1st, 2025 through May 31st, 2027, for an amount not to exceed $849,524.22. It's the first renewal of this contract, and it was established by mutual agreement.
Thank you, Ms. Brown. Ms. Brown or Director Perlotti, this 2-year cycle, that covers all of our mailings and printings for the
For the,
vote guides and all that.
so the, for item
Ballot
12,
printing,
yeah, item 12, that is only the ballot printing.
Okay.
While Midwest Direct does often bid on the voter information guide, sometimes Lois, sometimes not. But number 12, that is for our ballot printing, both election day ballots, providing blank ballot stock for the early in-person voting, as well as all the vote by mail. And that is the printing of those ballots as well as the packets. I will say that Midwest Direct has been a very good partner with us for several years now. And with Cuyahoga County, for over a decade, being the largest vote by mail county in the state, that is the most challenging part of it, and they do it very well, and actually have a couple of Cuyahoga machines that are dedicated to us. So we appreciate that partnership and worked with them within the confines of the contract with Assistant Prosecutor Musson. And this 2-year extension will get us all the way through the May 2027 primary. So we'll have all of our statewide elections wrapped up and everything this year. I hope that the board does move forward with that.
Great. Thank you, Director Perlotti. And thank you, Ms. Brown. And so we have 2 items before us. So I move to approve to send the voter information guide to all active voters, households for the September 9th, 2025 primary election.
Second.
Second by Ms. Stewart. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye. The
Aye.
ayes have it. And I move to approve Resolution R 2025-06-23-0016C for Midwest Direct.
Second.
Second by Ms. Stewart. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Aye, the ayes have it. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Brown. And the chair recognizes Ms. Marlene Robinson Statler of our poll worker department. Welcome and good morning.
Good morning, Marlene Robinson Statler, manager for the poll worker department. Actually, requesting approval to appoint not less than 2 precinct election officials for each precinct for the September 9th, 2025 primary election.
Okay, and this is standard procedure as we've
Yes.
done in elections past. So I move to approve to appoint not less than 2 precinct election officials for each precinct for the September 2025 election.
Second.
Second by Mr. McCafferty. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Aye, the ayes have it. It is so ordered. And now on to the precinct election official report.
Okay, our precinct election official performance summary that you have received, I'm happy to report that we have made some strides and improvements and wanted to go over some specific areas here. We do evaluate the election officials after every election. So for May 6, 2025, for that particular election, our managers, which is our voting location managers and our voting location deputies, were required to attend training. And anyone who hadn't worked in our precinct election officials since August 2023. In addition, people were allowed to self-select additional training, meaning we had open house forums set up where people could practice them with the machines. They could answer questions on how to process maybe provisional voting or receive some other follow-up information. We also had Zoom meetings where people could attend their leisure virtual meetings to ask questions, get clarifications and things like that for the training. And overall, with the training, the things that people are actually measured and graded on are things like open and closing of the polls. So if you look at the document, it's on the first page, 100% of our polling locations open and close the polls on time, which is a plus here. And as far as printing and packing the zero reports, there were approximately 42 locations who they printed some tapes but not all the tapes. And we did have some new procedures for Tuesday night for closing as far as retrieving the information. So we're working through some things to make sure that we're able to make sure we have all the tapes returned, they're printed and signed and going over that. As we move forward to conducting the rest of the election, the self-reporting of issues, we have 100% of the 273 polling locations reporting any issues, but we do also have some internal mechanisms to also measure and know if ballot supply is low and so forth. So then the handling of provisional ballots, and I want to give a salute to our poll workers. If you notice, there's some comparisons there in regards to our May 2023 election, March 2024 election, and May 2025. We did comparables of comparable size elections. And if you notice, we have improved in many areas. As far as no printed name on our provisional envelopes, we had 0%. No signature, 0%. In missing date of birth, it was 0.5%. No ballot in the envelope, we've improved there, 0%. Missing address was only 2%, 0.2%, and wrong precinct, wrong location is 0.8%. So if you notice, it's gone from 2.3, 2.7 to 1.5% overall. And then reconciliation after the polls closed, 271 locations completed the ballot accounting process accurately. So we're very happy with that. Then as we move forward on the last page regarding performance summaries, you can see that overall, what we're looking for here is a low score, like golf, looking for the low score. And so we have 1.4% overall score for May 2025. And if you notice in those areas compared to the other 2 elections in 2023 and 2024, we have made overall improvements in all of those areas. Now, as we move to the fall election and September September and November elections, we're working on collaborating with our other departments. And some of those collaborations include collaborating with registration to reinforce provisional, because although we've made improvements, we want to have continuous improvement and not backslide or anything like that. Then we're going to collaborate with election support regarding our facility-related issues, as far as making sure that our election officials are mindful of the facilities that are given to us and allow us to use those facilities. Then we're partnering with Ballot to ensure appropriate signage for our scanners, to ensure that we're following the proper procedures as far as loading the paper, because we did make some changes to how the ballot scanners are being utilized and how the paper is loaded. And then finally, the polling locations that underperform will receive targeted reminders before the election, before the next election. So after this particular performance summary is completed and certified, then they will receive by mail their actual grades for the individual locations and whatever scores that they have. Before the next election, we make calls, we send final reminder emails. Our election response team visits the location on the day of the election, and so that we can work through any problems or concerns that we have.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Statler. Any questions for Ms. Statler? Just want to say thank you for a good report. This was a good report card, and kudos to you and your staff in the poll worker department.
Thank you.
And Mr. McCafferty and I know about trying to keep the score low, right?
Yeah.
Good. Thank you. Board, we've heard that excellent report, and I move to acknowledge the precinct election official performance report for the May 5th, 2025 primary special election.
Second.
Second by Mr. McCafferty. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Aye, the ayes have it. Thank you very much. And the chair now recognizes Mr. Hassani Wheat of registration. And Mr. Wheat is our manager of the registration department, but he comes here today as a challenger. So as a challenger, we're going to ask the court reporter to please swear Mr. Wheat in, and then he can present his challenges.
You solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wheaton. Welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So you should have before you 32 Form 257's challenge of the right to vote and correction of registration lists that was submitted by Mr. Hassani Wheat and received by the Board of Elections on June 10th, 2025. Mr. Wheat, a registered voter in Cuyahoga County, is challenging a voter residency of 32 individuals at 11021 East Boulevard in Cleveland. Mr. Wheat noted in his challenge that 11021 East Boulevard is a commercial address and cannot be affixed to a voter's registration. The Cuyahoga County Property Summary Report has 11021 East Boulevard listed as the Cleveland Institute of Music. The registration department spoke with Ms. Davina Hogan, who is the Assistant Vice President of Student Affairs at the Cleveland Institute of Music, regarding these 32 individuals. And it was explained that the Cleveland Institute of Music did not initially own its dormitories, and that students were advised to use the 11021 East Boulevard address for all mail and voter registration items. The Cleveland Institute of Music has now since acquired a dormitory on Hazel Drive. Ms. Hogan also noted that most of these individuals have since graduated. A letter was mailed to the 32 individuals on April 7th, 2025, requesting that they update their residential address on file by May 7th, 2025. As of today, none of these individuals had updated their address from 11021 East Boulevard.
Thank you, Mr. Wheat. We've heard from our challenger. Board members, any questions? And so the fact pattern for these 32 voters remains the same, correct? All right. All right. I'm going to ask, is Jonathan Bicos present or an attorney representing him? We'll know for the record, he's not. Rebecca Benjamin or an attorney representing Rebecca? Madeline Boland or an attorney representing Madeline? Jessica Chansey or an attorney representing Jessica? Hannah Cooper, or an attorney representing Hannah. Amber Correa, or an attorney representing Hannah. Skylar Covert, or an attorney representing Skylar. Austin Cox, or an attorney representing Austin. Noah Eagle, or an attorney representing Eagle. Matthew Geis, or an attorney representing Matthew. Ann Guinea, or an attorney representing Ann. Caitlin Gergel, or an attorney representing Caitlin. Sophia Hashemasi, or an attorney representing Sophia. Anders Jansen, or an attorney representing Anders. Lilia Keys, or an attorney representing Lilia. Elora Lenkoski, or an attorney representing Elnora. Isabella Lorenzo Giger, or an attorney representing Isabella. Nicole Martin, or an attorney representing Nicole. Lovely McDaniel, or an attorney representing Lovely. Kaylee Norris, or an attorney representing Kaylee. Jamie Reynolds, or an attorney representing Jamie. Leonardo Rincon, or an attorney representing Leonardo. Nicholas Schreiber Lois, or an attorney representing Nicholas. Brian Slaughter, or an attorney representing Brian. Benjamin Smelzer, or an attorney representing Benjamin. Joel Smirnoff, or an attorney representing Joel. Gianna Snart, or an attorney representing Gianna. Andrew Stock, or an attorney representing Andrew. Peter Taipei IV, or an attorney representing Peter. Rachel Waterbury, or an attorney representing Rachel. Perry Wolfman, or an attorney representing Perry. Fei Yang, or an attorney representing Fei. So we'll note for the record, none of the respondents nor an attorney representing them are present for this challenge. Having heard the information supplied by Mr. Wheat, I move to uphold the challenge to the right to vote filed by Hassani Wheat against all parties listed in agenda items 15 through 46 inclusive. Second by Mr. McCafferty. Any unreadiness? Hearing none, all in favor, aye. Aye. Ayes have it. It is so ordered. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
On to our personnel agenda. And I move the reclassification of Keisha Dean from Payroll Officer, Fiscal Services Department to Fiscal Analyst, Fiscal Services Department, effective June 23rd, 2025. Second by Mr. McCafferty. Any unreadiness? Hearing none, all in favor, aye. Aye, the ayes have it. It is so ordered. Legislative update, and the chair recognizes Mr. Peter James. Good morning.
Good morning. Peter James, Election and Compliance Administrator. There are several bills in various stages in the Ohio legislature that touch upon one way or another election and election law. But mostly I'm just going to cover this morning the biannual budget bill. One is the farthest along. Two, almost certainly this will become law here by the end of the month. And there are several items that touch upon elections. The original bill came out of the House Bill 96, and then the Senate made some updates to it, and that's where we currently stand. The amended version from the Senate got passed. Now this week, most likely the two bills will get reconciled between the Senate and the House. So things on here are not a certainty, but I think most likely the election items, as I will discuss here in a second, I think are probably most likely to stay as they currently are. First one is the funding of statewide elections. This bill would allow the Secretary of State to provide front-end grants / money to County Board of Elections for the costs of state elections. Currently, it's the reverse, where counties have to front the cost of elections and then get reimbursed later. The May election is a perfect example because there was a statewide issue. In Cuyahoga County, we had to open up, every single precinct for the election where a lot of those precincts otherwise wouldn't have been. The county had to pay the costs of doing that first, and then we reimbursed, but then we sent an, expense report to the state and then got reimbursed after the fact. If this was in place, it would have been reverse. Presumably, the grant money would have been some calculation of registered voters and precincts. We would have gotten that money and then, versus getting it after the election. So that's going to be one change that's positive. Another change involves the Ohio Elections Commission. In the House version of the budget bill, the Ohio Elections Commission would have been completely eliminated, with county boards of elections being required to adjudicate campaign finance complaints. I know Director Pilati spoke about this, I think, a couple meetings ago, and the OAEO was, very much an advocate for not wanting to put that burden on boards of elections. That would significantly increase the amount of staff we'd need. Just it really isn't something that we'd be able to handle. So fortunately, in the Senate version, they decided to transfer all existing staff from the Ohio Elections Commission to the Secretary of State's office, and then create what's called an Ohio Election Integrity Commission. I think it's more or less just a renaming of the same commission that would take on the previous duties that the Ohio Elections Commission had. And then they added a couple other things, certain voting and petition related violations that would fall under the work of this commission. So in short, the OAC will no longer exist in its current form, but more or less will continue on in the Secretary of State's office under their current public elections division. Another change involves poll workers and OPERS. First, speaking to poll workers who are state employee retirees who are currently on PERS, they would not have to lose any of their OPERS benefits if they were to serve as a poll worker. So that's a nice benefit, because previously there was the potential, and in some cases actually happened, where a retiree on PERS could lose some of their health care benefits as a result of being a poll worker. The Senate budget language would exempt all poll workers who are retired and receiving benefits from the state pension from any OPERS calculations governing reemployment. So in short, poll workers who currently receive OPERS benefits do not risk losing them by being a poll worker. The second part of this is, just poll workers who are not retirees of PERS. The Senate version of the bill lists several types of employees that they consider not, keyword being not, public employees. And one of those definitions is a precinct election official. And they specifically in the bill cite the revised code that speaks to what a precinct election official is and what boards have to do to hire them. I say that because specifically, and we double checked this with Aaron Ackerman from the OAEO, this being exempt from any kind of OPERS, in this case, we're talking about OPERS deduction, having anything taken out of their paycheck for PERS, only is going to apply to poll workers, meaning currently, unless something changes, rovers and other, election day temporary workers would not get this exemption. And by exemption, it basically means previously there was a $600 threshold of which if a poll worker made over $600 in a given year, then PERS deductions would have to come out. In the new bill, they just struck that away. I guess technically there is still a $2,300 threshold that exists in some other part of law, but there's no chance that poll workers are ever going to hit that number. Even in the year that we had 7 elections in one time, that still wouldn't get a poll worker to that. So in all essence, they don't have to worry about that anymore. Last couple quick items, cost of living adjustments. The bill will remove automatic and perpetual cost of living adjustments for Board of Election board members' salaries. So sorry about that. And then the last one is Board of Election candidates, Board of Education candidates. This is an important change. It's going to require all Board of Education candidates running for either local or state school boards to appear on the ballot with a political party designation in all future elections. Currently, Board of Education candidates were running as nonpartisan candidates. Just one last thing, because there is one other bill that's kind of moved itself along here. Last week, Senate Bill 4 was passed out of the Senate. and it has to do with the election integrity unit. It's very similar. Currently, there's already a public election division within the Secretary of State's office, as we all know. What this bill primarily does is codified into law the existence of this election integrity unit, is what they would call it. It's going to require the unit to investigate alleged violations of election law upon receiving complaints from the public or on its own initiative. It allows the public integrity unit to administer oaths, subpoenas, summon witnesses, compel the production of evidence, and hold hearings. It permits the unit to refer allegations to a prosecutor, a law enforcement agency, or another state or federal agency for further investigation or prosecution as appropriate. It requires the unit to submit annual reports of its activities to the Governor and General Assembly. As it turns to the prosecution of these laws, it says it gives a county prosecutor a limited period of time. That's a little bit of a change where they're going to set out a specific period of time of which a county prosecutor to either prosecute a violation that's referred by the unit, make a formal decision not to prosecute, or to request additional evidence from the units. And then it also allows the election integrity unit to refer the matter to the Attorney General under certain circumstances. And that's all I have, unless you have any questions or comments.
Thank you, Mr. James. Board members, any questions for Mr. James? All right, thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Great. Director, Deputy Director?
I'm going to go ahead and, as far as the building update, we're going to have Deputy Director Gallagher. He's more up to date on this as I was out of town for a little bit.
Thank you. Thank you, Director. The punch list is still, they're working their way with the building. There's several items. You may have noticed the parking lot on the east end of the lot. They started excavation on that. With the redesign of that lot, we expect to get probably 1 or 2 more rows of parking available there. That construction is expected to be completed by the end of July or first week in August. Root, the company that's installing all the AV audiovisual equipment in the building, they're continuing their work. They are working on the staff training room as well as conference rooms. Their work is expected to be completed in July as well. Last week, one of the issues we've been having with the building is just we have some cold spots in the building and some warmer spots. People from the HVAC company were here last week. They found about 3 of the regulators were in locked position, in which then the motor was just running continuously. They are here again today, and they'll be continuing to make adjustments to it. Some of the settings have been set for 30 years, and some of the units needed to be replaced so that they can have the control to adjust the HVAC system accordingly. Also, another issue that was reported last time was some of the overhead lighting in some of the work areas is quite bright. There is a plan to move forward. I believe that they're going to just add dimmer switches to them, which is, again, it's one of those things for staff to be working in all day long when you're on a computer. Proper lighting is essential. The garage, with the leaks in the garage, sometimes it feels like it's 3 steps forward, 2 steps back, but the building owner, they're continuing their work on it. They haven't finalized it. We are identifying areas that need adjustment, and it's something that's somewhat ongoing. And again, until they complete their final inspection, it's probably something we're monitoring and reporting as it's found. And then the last thing is this week we are having our ribbon cutting ceremony with the county executive's office and county council. That is scheduled for Wednesday. You may have noticed the early in-person vote center is very much coming into shape. The event will be held within that. And, we're looking forward to moving ahead with each step of completion.
Thank you, Deputy Director. Any questions for our Deputy Director? Thank you, sir. Director? Nothing?
And, I mean, I think, well, one, I want to thank Deputy Director Gallagher for keeping the place afloat and moving it forward as I've been out. The building is functional. It's good. It definitely has some of these issues that we need to work through, blinds, heating and cooling and those types of things. And one of the things that I do want us to do, Deputy Director Gallagher and myself, is have a conversation with Assistant Prosecutor Musson and see if we need to start having some conversations maybe with the county law department and those types of things. Because one of the things that people really respond to is when they don't get lease payments. And so, you know, once you accept some of these things, you lose some of your ability to push things forward. And I think we need to get some of that back. And I think that's with seeing what we can and cannot do financially with some of these things. So I get it. You move in, you have some hiccups, but at some point there needs to be I think a quicker response to some of these things. And they shouldn't continue on. But overall, happy. It's good that we're here. Look forward to our first early in-person voting process here in August. And I'm sure we'll have everything squared away by that point.
Thank you, Director. Any questions for our Director? All right, hearing none, the chair has received several requests for public comment. Michael Africa, now this is a different comment than what he had for his other piece. So Mr. Africa, you wish to be recognized, you can come forth if you have different statements from what we heard earlier. Floor is yours.
First of all, I would like to ask a question. Nobody answered me. Am I able to be a write-in candidate?
Okay, so with public comment, we don't comment, so you just speak directly to the board, but there won't be any dialogue.
Okay, so where do I get that information from?
You can request that through our clerks to the board, and we can speak to you outside of the meeting.
Okay.
Okay.
Other than that, it's like, I want to reiterate that coming to the election board, election experience of running for office or either voting shouldn't be a hostile and experience. And whoever, you know, is in charge of that need to do something about that. That's not good. And the whole community, now, at least my community, knows that. I'm not trying to rehash whatever. I'm just saying you guys need to really investigate that and look into that, you know. And then lastly, like answers. Where do you get answers from? You know what I'm saying? It's like I knew nothing about the affidavit. I knew nothing about that. And then I asked. I was just told that's your problem. So I'm saying I want to move on, but where do I get the? I mean, you know, I'm not looking for answers right now, but I'm looking for a department that go or somebody to call. You know, because y'all know in the whole political climate, nobody wants to offend. You got to. So sometimes people get offended by just a question, but I'm not trying to battle. I'm not trying to, you know, because I got a lawyer and I'm gonna just continue in court. But I just want to know, am I able to be a write-in candidate? And when I visit the place, if I come down, if it's a yes from whoever, tell me that, do I have to come down here? And guess what? Every time I come in your office now in the Board of Election, I let the police know in the front. I'm going in, I'm not arguing with nobody, I'm not bothering nobody. So if they push a button, they just doing that. All I want to do is represent my ward. And just to know before I sit down, been living in Ward 7, now 8, all my life. I was born in Mount Sinai Hospital when it was in Ward 8. And nobody before and nobody after Fannie Lewis did anything for that community. And so that's when the people come to me, they figure I can do something. They know I care about the community. All I want to do is come in and do, and you understand, and be a candidate. If I can't be a candidate now, next time. But where do I get out? Who do I get that from? The clerk? All right. Have a good day. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. You too. All right. Chair recognizes, trying to remember, is it Myris Holmes? I hope I pronounced that correct. Yes, please. Welcome, Ms. Holmes, and could you spell your name for the court reporter, please?
Yes, Myras. Last name Holmes, Holmes.
All right, good morning and welcome.
And thank you, board, for hearing me. My name is Myris Holmes. It's the first time I decided to run for councilwoman in my ward. So it's first experience. So first experience coming down here to find out the procedure and the protocol to get a petition to run. It was not a pleasant experience. When I first came here, I was given a petition. So this is all it had on there. So then I filled it out according to as I got registered voters. So when I started, I put in March. So I needed some more voter registration cards. So I come down and then I was told that when I filled this out, it was wrong. So I would appreciate going forward the protocol, just like it is for the board of poll workers. So you get a very in-depth training when you are a poll worker. You need the same thing with the board of the candidates and petitions. So an evaluation form needs to be given so that candidates can review the petitioning candidates and the service and the way that they treat us. So I'm going to be a write-in for Ward 5 because I was late. But given that I was late, I was allowed to come, enter the bath. So as I was approaching, before I could even approach the line, Abigail came out and says to me, "You're late." Okay, I know. And as I turned around to leave, to exit, she said, "Where are you from?" And I said, "Cleveland." And she said, "You're late." I said, "You said that already." So prior to this encounter, and the manager for that department is well aware because he came out as well. And so prior to that, the best service that I received as a candidate, first time running, was from Miss Patricia, I can't think of her last name, Jenkins. So Miss Jenkins looked at my form, went over it step by step by step, and had me to complete this because in filing for this, I had also put in the wrong date because it should have been September the 9th when this was due, okay? So what I'm saying is that department needs to be more succinct, kind, and follow procedures when you're dealing with your voters. My second encounter with them, because I'm from Ward 5, and I know the constituency that I represent as an activist as well. So when talking to the voters, I had to explain to them that our ward now encompassed Slavic Village. I needed a map. I came down to get a map. They gave me a map. It was kind of large. And then I came back and asked if I can get 5 more because of the folks that were helping me, gather petitions for my voter registration. So as I'm trying to get the the maps, I was told you're only allowed one. That's all candidates are getting. Okay, I'm done.
30 seconds.
Okay, so that's all I'm getting. Okay. So you need to go to the website and pull them down. I went to the website. The website does not allow it. I went to the library. It is so huge that it does not allow you to get a map. In my ward, and being an activist, you need to be able to give folks materials that they're able to read and see and understand. So all I'm asking is that maybe we could take a page out of the poll election office.
Thank you, Ms. Holmes. Thank you. All right. All right, the chair recognizes Vida Said. I hope I pronounced that correct. Okay, please. And good morning and welcome. And if you would please spell your name for the court reporter. Thank you.
Give God the glory, everybody. My name is Vida. Said isn't on the, going to be probably on the ballot as Vida Amina Said, but it's V as a Victor, I, D as in David, A-H, and my last name is S as in Sam, A-E-E-D. Okay. Before I forget though, I'm going to reference documentation of some phone calls. So I want to say this ahead of time so I won't forget this here. I called the Board of Elections from my phone number. Do I have to tell my phone number? Okay. On June 16th at 2:49 p.m. That was an 8-minute call. On 2:53 p.m. Then Wednesday, 2:53 p.m. That's 1 minute call, 1 minute, 1 minute, 2 second, 12-second call. I'm sorry. 1 minute, 12-second call. And on Wednesday, 2:55 p.m., that was a 4 minute, 23-second call. And on Wednesday, 2:37 p.m., that was a 6 minute, 58-second call. And some of what I'm saying is on those phone calls if you have recorded. I am running for mayor of East Cleveland. And I ran for council before in 2013, 2017 in a wheelchair. So I didn't have any problems that I know of, that I could recall at those times from the same people that I'm going to mention today. The concern is with Corey and Lori. And mind you, since I can walk now, I ran all the way from Tower City to this station here, to this place, 18th Street, saying, well, am I gonna make it? So when I got here, when I got inside, of course, I had to go to the checkout. This is on June 11th. I brought my petition. The first thing I thought it was supposed to happen was that when I presented my petitions, it was supposed to be stamped. So that's what I thought was supposed to happen. Had I been any later, I probably wouldn't have made it. But because I did still have a little bit of time, someone gave me some information to fill out, which I thought I had already filled out because they give you a package and you fill those things out. And it seemed pretty familiar to me that I was filling the same things out that I already had. But I thought I was supposed to stamp it. It was supposed to give me information to fill out afterwards. Finally, as I was filling out the paperwork, someone decided to tell me, hey, let's get your petition stamped. And of course, they stamped the first 3 petitions. I had like about seven of them filled out. And I was relieved about that. It was just me and another person as well that was had been told the same thing, was given this information ahead of stamping their petitions. And so when I went to Ms. Lori's desk, I was asking her some questions. She said, oh, it doesn't matter. And I'm like, okay, well, it seemed like it should matter. Some of these things should matter, And one of the things that I noticed was that my address wasn't changed. I had changed my address 2 weeks ago with the department that does that. 2 weeks prior, I'm sorry, to that, and approximately 2 weeks prior. And so I was surprised that my address wasn't changed, for one. Then I thought of at the last minute, okay, let me get my petitions copied. So she went to copy my petitions, and mind you, I had some hater that destroyed my petitions. Well, it didn't really destroy it, tried to destroy my petitions, and I rinsed them off, and but it was still intact, and so it still had a little faint indication that it was, was like a mild coloring to my petitions. So Lori came back and said she couldn't.
Ms. Said, you have 30 seconds.
I got 36. Okay. So make a long story short, I was hung up on when I tried to get information about early voters to help with my campaign. I was refused that from Mr. Corey, and I was also hung up on by Miss Lori. And I did have a witness, Patricia was a witness to some of the things that happened.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Said. All right, the chair recognizes Keith Hemphill. Mr. Hemphill. Morning, sir, and welcome. And if you could please spell your name for the court reporter.
All right. Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Keith Hemphill, Keith. Last name is Hemphill. Okay, my statement is in reference to I am a first-time petitioner to become a candidate for Ward 10 to run. I had interesting dialogue with, I believe it's Brent Lawler, couple of phone calls. Very interesting, didn't sit well with me. Information wasn't informative when it came from him. As far as his staff, I had no issues whatsoever. I'm asking questions repeatedly. I was getting information with enthusiasm, useful information. However, when it came to Mr. Lawler, it was something different. The energy was different. Example, and this is factual, I was told about the withdrawal form, and I was told that I would have to do the research on it. I asked him what was the RC on it, revised code for anyone that doesn't know. He gave me that. I did the research over the weekend for the revised code. However, then he wasn't as forthcoming with the information, hey, you could do an affidavit. I was short by 11 signatures, I believe. Not necessarily, valid signatures, according to my question to him. People that signed in the building, according to, again, I'm not certain, according to people that signed from senior buildings, they might have not put their building number or the apartment number where they moved from one apartment. And I do understand that you have rules and procedures that you have to go by. But I would have loved to have the information about an affidavit, being able to submit an affidavit so I can even have you guys consider it, submit it to you with the affidavit. But information that was given to me was about the withdrawal, look up the rules, research them, find out. I'm like, okay, I will. You were given a booklet, use the booklet. Again, his staff was fine with me. That's from Miss Patricia Jenkins to Miss Abigail to Mr. Wheatley, who went above and beyond. He was kind to me, not only me, but also my team. My issue did come in with Mr. Lawler, and I did suggest to him I would like to meet him face to face, so I could put a voice and that energy, match it with who he is. That's all I have to say. I take that back. I would like maybe he can have some training, maybe some investigation can be done. My understanding, you guys use the Cisco phone. I do believe the Cisco phone does record conversations. I'll be more than happy to provide the date, and the times of when we spoke and how long our conversations were. And that I will close. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And it's Mr. Hemphill. I mispronounced your name. Excuse me. All right. Right. Phonics class, right. Yeah, okay. But I wanted to publicly apologize for mispronouncing your name. Okay. Thank you. All right. There being no other business before us and no request for executive session, I move to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
Second by Ms. Stewart. All in favor, aye. Aye. The ayes have it. It is so ordered. Thank you and have a great day.